Welcome to Pushing Forward with Alycia, a podcast that gives disability a voice. Each week, we will explore topics like confidence, ambition, resilience, and finding success against all odds. We are creating a collective community that believes that all things are possible for all people. Open hearts, clear paths, let's go. Welcome back to Pushing Forward with Alycia. I'm Alycia, and I start this episode with a question. What happens when you turn adversity into artistry and you use your own story to redefine beauty, music, the stage, the runway, and so many more things all at once? Well, our guest today is going to answer those questions. She's radiant. She's unstoppable. She's incredible. She's a Bionic model, charting on the billboards with her songwriting. She's an actress. She's a fierce disability advocate. And she's graced pages like Vogue, Essence, Harper's Bazaar. She's even been in Playboy. Her name is Marsha Elle. She's all over social media. She's making major headway in not only representation, but her platform. She's got a new single that is titled I Am Beautiful, which you absolutely are. And she's just got this beautiful movement and mantra of self-acceptance is revolutionary. Marsha, thank you so much for gracing us on the show with your beautiful presence and talent. It's so great to meet you.
Alycia, thank you so much for the introduction. You did amazing. Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled. I'm a fan. I've been following you forever. You are one of those bright lights in disability advocacy that has such a beautiful platform that is unique, that is stand out, and that is making such headway for all of us to follow. So I appreciate all of the work that you're doing. Let's start with, if it's okay, you describe yourself as a bionic model. Can you take us back a little bit? Tell us about your disability and how has your disability, your prosthetic, all of that shaped your identity personally and professionally?
Thank you. Yes. So I kind of coined this bionic model term about 8-9 years ago. So I'm a musician, I guess, by passion and by trade. But for all my childhood and adulthood, early adulthood, I never showed my prosthetic leg. I'm an amputee. I'm a congenital amputee. So I was born with one leg. This is all I've ever known. And yet I know culturally and society at that point wasn't really ready to accept this embracing of disability. It was something that you had to overcome. And so for myself too, and trying to grow with this disability, I hid it for so long. So when I was releasing my second album that I entitled Brave, I was like, it's kind of hypocritical to name this album Brave, spend so much time, money, resources into creating this project, yet I've never been vulnerable and shown my fans my leg and this part of me. So I said, you know what? For the album cover, I'm going to show my leg. This is going to be, my second album needs to be the album where I just trust my existence and why I'm here. And I was like, okay, what do I do? Funny story. And this might be an exclusive. I was living in Orlando. I grew up in Orlando, graduated from the University of Central Florida, and that was what I called home. Would you believe that I couldn't find a photographer that would shoot me?
Wow.
It was crazy. And I always go back to that. I'm like, they just weren't enthusiastic. I've always been that type of person. When I go to book and hire someone, I want them to feel like they're part of this artistic journey. So I go online and go to Instagram and I find this guy, Esen Aka, never forget him. And he's in Minnesota. I love his work. I said, hey, and this is what I'm trying to do. I want to do an album cover. I want to show this vulnerable side of me. Are you going to shoot me? He was like, absolutely. I'm excited. So I book a flight to Minnesota. Never been. What am I doing in Minnesota? So I fly into Minneapolis. Such an amazing person. We went to on set and he took the most beautiful photos. I posted them on Instagram and I have to go ahead and fast forward a little bit to come back. Those photos, I posted them and kept moving. Dropped my album 3-4 years later. that very photo, those sets of photos would go viral. Jada Pinkett Smith would repost it. I would then end up in Essence. I would end up in People Magazine, Yahoo, all types of publicity from photos and a seed that was planted 4 years before in Minneapolis. And so I say that to say, being a bionic model, it was through the process of healing and self-acceptance and really being vulnerable. And it became a healing process for me, and it just took off. So sometimes you do things and you see the fruit of the labor way, 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 way later.
That's an incredible story. I think it's a major, massive lesson for a lot of us, if not most of us, that have some type of disability. I know I've hidden a lot of things in my own space, and I'm having a reckoning with myself right now in this moment. So it's so crazy that you bring that up. And that just did a lot for me personally, honestly. Was that your moment of publicly self ID? Like, you're an artist. Did anybody know from your outer circle that you had a disability?
Only like family or close
Wow.
friends, people I went to college with, but on socials, on platforms, no. And we're talking, this is 2013. So
Wow.
no one really knew. And I released a great album, my first album, Champion. It was out, but no one knew.
Wow. That's incredible. What a story. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh. So you've said that your story is that of others as well. It's not just yours. Can you share like how you found your voice through music and modeling? Was it this moment that you just shared, or was there something else that really pushed you to be on stages, the stages that you are today?
Absolutely. Well, I will say, when I had surgery around the age of 13, 14 to get into a better prosthetic, but that meant at the age of 13 and 14, puberty, that I had to learn to walk all over again. So I'm
Mhm.
falling, I'm insecure, my body's changing, weight fluctuates, you got to get a new leg. So it's all of this. But I had never met another amputee. The care coordinator at the Shriners Hospital, one of my favorite hospitals, said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you on a camp." I was like, "Camp?" I'd never been on a plane at that point. I'm 14, and it's a camp with amputees in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've never been, but I was like, absolutely. I was always that much of an adventurer. I went there, and for the first time, I felt like I didn't have to hide my leg. There was community, and that would be where I penned this song called Unlimited.
Mm.
And it's unlimited, UNLIMBITED.
Mhm.
So it's unlimited. And it was the lyrics that I wrote where it says, "Who am I? Just a product of your design. If I were to listen in on everything you say, we're all the same. Who told you that we were different? I'm sorry to let you down. I'm sorry to let you down." So I wrote those words to say, like, I'm listening to society say I have to be this small and I have to be perfect. I have to look away. But we are all the same. We still have that human connection. That human existence is what makes us very, very similar and where we can learn from one another. And so that would be my epiphany. That was my moment. But it still took many years to take that to the world. Back then, there wasn't social media, it was just this intimate group. But I think that made it more personal because then I could go back and get my guitar and write these words. And that song would then end up 7 years later on Brave. So
Wow. So those lyrics just chills. I was rubbing my arms while you were saying it. Whoa. And I love that you started to have like your coming of age or awakening in community at camp. Like the same, I have a congenital disability. Same thing happened to me too. And I rejected that for a while in my life. Like I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to be associated. And I feel so guilty for saying it. But back then I was insecure too. So I don't know if you felt that way, but, like, I think that's another great message for the younger ones that follow this show, that when we find community together, it makes you so much stronger in accepting
unstoppable.
yourself in some way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And I think you're powerful in saying that because I had to be honest with myself. This wasn't, oh, wake up and I'm automatically proud.
Yeah.
Society has evolved, yes, but there is a lot of inside work that is still every day reminding myself of my why, my purpose, and learning to undo all the internalized ableism, because we're always applauded when we do things ourselves. But I think there should be a even louder applaud for when we reach out for help and say, "Hey, I'm having a tough mental health day. Can I talk to you today?" Or there should be a great applause for people who are vulnerable. And I think
Yeah.
in that vulnerability, we learn to have empathy and care for one another, whether you're disabled or not. So I'm glad that you're able to share that, because I was in that same position. It wasn't something that, here, I'm happy to be disabled. We weren't even
Yeah.
allowed to say disabled, I think, 10
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. And I think those quiet, vulnerable moments, even when you're by yourself battling internalized ableism, even in the moments today where I've got a platform and we look strong and just like full of energy and you've on top of the world, but there's still these moments where you have to face those, even sometimes quietly, and have a little bit of a reckoning with it to grow even more. So, yeah, that's powerful. I am beautiful. You are beautiful. The song I Am Beautiful. I love the title because it forces you to say, I am beautiful. Like I didn't want to most like, oh, that was amazing. It's touching hearts globally. Like, what inspired the lyrics to this song? And what are you hoping that listeners are going to take away from it?
Yes. My good friend Ramsey Broussard called me up one day and he says, "I have the perfect song for you." And I was like, "Hey," he's just sent me the lyrics. He said, "I just want you to read it." It was so affirming. It was so powerful. He said, "Okay, let's get in the studio. Let's work on this." He is an amazing producer. And in that, he cares about the music immediately after the purpose. And he was very intentional in saying, we could have called it beautiful. He's like, "No, let's say I am beautiful," so that it was, because he said to me, "Do you know how many people never say they're beautiful?" So if they inadvertently say it while they look for your song, it might spark something. We want people to really feel the purpose behind this. And and I think that's why it resonates with so many people around the world. There's a little moment in you, that little girl, that little boy, the child in you that says, "Yeah, I am beautiful." Remember when we used to just be so enamored by who we are? And I think that's what we wanted for that song. For you to just listen to it and walk in the mirror and be like, "Yeah, I am beautiful." Or that was our why. So we then sat down and we got guitar, we had instruments, we put it together after we found that we rooted ourselves in that purpose of making sure these lyrics help and pull and tug at heartstrings. Hopefully is played for generations to come.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. Well, it worked. The title caught me when I was saying, like, oh, I'm beautiful.
Yay.
That felt good. That felt really good.
All right.
It translated immediately. Okay, can we talk about fashion for a minute?
Let's do it.
I am literally obsessed with you on the runway and all of the incredible stages that you've been on. You're breaking barriers in fashion way before I'm sure this was as popular as it's become. Vogue to Playboy. I mean, girl, the fact that you went on in Playboy is incredible in itself, to just be bold and daring like that with your body with a disability. Like I'm that inspires me. How do you define beauty and how has that changed for you over time? Is it constantly changing? Are you growing into it more and more? Talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, when we are working in an industry, entertainment in general, perception varies. And I think that I started in 2016 brand deals. My first shoot was with Parfait. They flew me out to LA to do, it was an intimate shoot. And they were really hard launching diversity. Yeah, it sounds so crazy because we've really grown with the industry. And they have been regressing a little bit, and we're hoping that there's some changes. That's for maybe a different discussion, because we have to stay the course with brands. But for me, fashion is a way of expression, and representation is very important. When I was humbled with the opportunity to be in Vogue. That Vogue was for New York Fashion Week with Private Policy. Playboy was in 2019. There was just so many amazing opportunities, but I really wanted to be the person Marsha needed at the age of 6. I had no one to look to. No one looked like me. I had nothing to reference. And so that's why I try to always show up. Even when I'm intimidated, when I went to do a lot of runway, that's one thing I know I'm not great at. I'm not a walker. I have a different gait. I walk differently. Like, I know this is not where I excel, but I knew that if I showed up and if they felt that thing, and I always say there's this thing that you feel, whether it be just the energy you bring to the room, maybe I would be accepted. And that human connection really happened. And I think that's where I've been able to make my own little room for fashion, being the anomaly, the different model. You have to be daring, you have to be passionate to be a brand, to reach out to a disabled talent, but you're also a forerunner. You are innovative. You are the best type of brand because you understand that we are consumers and we add so much value.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say you're an anomaly. I mean, you are your own unique self for sure, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But I'd use the word icon. Like, I'd use the word that sets you apart from the rest in such a powerful, not a limit. You're such a presence, and you fit so well in the world of all of the fashion You're just like a perfect icon in the mix of all of the models that frankly have uniquenesses, but are all the same, and you're so beautifully unique that it's incredible. Like, it is, you're one of the most powerful, like, presence that I've ever seen on a stage. I really mean it. Like, you command the stage when you're on it. And from an outsider looking in, and a woman to woman and fashionista to fashionista, it's so incredible to see. And I know you hear that from millions of people. I'm just one of them, but it's powerful. And we believe what we see. We believe what we experience. And you being the only one, the one and only, the first, way back when this was not acceptable. Okay, maybe it wasn't not acceptable, but it just wasn't standard.
It was not. And we have to call it what it is. It was so hard. You couldn't Google. I think acceptance started maybe late 2016 with Mama Cox. She was the first. Love her, radiant. Brands were not, I mean, they're pulling back on plus size. And they are pulling back on disabled representation, and that's a no-no. And I appreciate amazing platforms like yours who are in media highlighting how important, how valuable it is for the next generation to accept what's different and not status quo. That's over. No one's interested. We want different. We want good, impactful, even inspiring visuals. And we bring that. Yes.
We do bring that. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the pullback. Let's talk about the importance of representation, specifically from having a multi-diverse identity. Like, look at you, like you're representing multi factors of that, like your intersectionality is clear. Like, let's talk about the pullback. Like, we're all feeling it. Like, what's the importance of advocating right now?
It's crucial because, like I was sharing earlier with you, our fight starts behind the camera and then all the way to the front. There's so many amazing directors, creators. Even within my businesses, I try to make sure I hire disabled talent because we have been ostracized, and it starts from even a socioeconomic standpoint where you can go this far, make this much money and no further, and if you do, you'll be penalized. There's just a lot of barriers that we've worked to dismantle, and they're slowly trying to bring them back up. So when I do work with brands, I try to explain to them, you are doing work that transcends what you think you're doing. When you hire disabled talent, you're not only breaking a barrier for your brand, but also providing livelihood to talent that a lot of the times we are left in the back. And so I can't encourage brands enough. I'm very grateful for the work, and I always try to, if it's not for me, I'll recommend someone else in our community, but we have to hold brands accountable. We have to hold brands accountable. We can't digress. We can't fall off. And I truly believe, and this is just you having your own platform, when we have to take control of our communities, which is creating content, having platforms like yours where we can voice out our opinions. We don't necessarily have to wait for someone to hand us the microphone. We're building our own microphone, and we're going to continue. We have Imani. She's a wonderful speaker. I love how she uses her platform and just shares her wealth of knowledge. We don't all agree on everything, but I love that we are now being vocal and having our own media platforms. That's important. That we have brands now that are created by disabled talent. I have my Tilt Beauty here. It's great to see that they are thinking about products that work for disabled communities. It's impressive. And so part of me is like, hey, brands, keep up with us. But another one is like, this is empowering because we are not going to wait for a seat at the table. We're starting to build our own seats at the table, and we have economic spend power. So we must use that because we deserve a quality of life for sure.
Yeah. And it's that education on all of those value propositions, as well as like these brands that are certain brands that are leading the charge that are all of a sudden pulling back. Like, no, we're done.
Mhm.
So like I've been on stages this year that hired me before all of this pullback started. And I'm going into these events, like in the back of my mind going, am I welcome here? And I'm showing up anyways. And I get on stage and I'm like, you're a leader. Like, don't go backwards. Like, there's so much value, but monetary, like human value,
Yes.
allowing like society to see something so they believe it, So it's so important. It's so important. And thank you for kind of touching on that, because we're all kind of in this together right now.
Yeah.
Backwards, please. So from a representation standpoint, what do you say to the young, disabled girl, boy, everybody, when they see you on a magazine cover, or they hear your music and they don't know or have the courage to reach that goal for them, whether it's their magazine cover is some other like dream or goal? Like, what do you tell them? How do they find their way the way that you did? Is there something that you can suggest?
Yeah, I think my biggest suggestion would be okay with creating and not immediately putting it out for scrutiny. Sometimes if you're not yet comfortable with your modeling, turn your camera around and try and practice and fall in love with your process. Because you have to remember, if you haven't failed enough, there's no way you're going to win. Like literally, you have to learn and fix and prune and really take out some, learn the tricks of the trade. But because of social media, sometimes like you do something and then instant gratification post it and you're hoping to get 1 million likes. And then it can discourage you because maybe the algorithm was down that day, or maybe you just hadn't found, your rhythm yet. Keep practicing, falling in love with the process. I released 2 albums, multiple singles, but people don't really know that I used to sing hours, go to guitar lessons hours. Those are the things that aren't glorified. Modeling, I paid for a lot of photo shoots that were not published, but I wanted to get out of my stage fright and get used to posing and learning my angles. And so just go have fun with the process first. You'll never regret if you had fun in the process. And then slowly, the product that you put out. Don't overthink it, but don't also feel that you need to be perfect. It's in those most imperfected work pieces that you might get the best ROI. To be honest, sometimes it's that photo you took on your iPhone on vacation that goes viral. I actually had that happen in Puerto Rico, and I was like, this is like a $2 photo, whereas my $600-700 photo shoot might get 100 likes. The other ones end up published.
You know what I like what you just said too is practice, and you don't have to put everything out right. Like, that's good for me. Don't feel like you have to constantly be putting stuff out. Like, just keep practicing. I think that's really, really good advice. And keep failing. Like, keep failing so you become an expert.
Yes.
That's powerful. Yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, so can we talk about some of your projects?
Yes.
I know you've got a nonprofit called Glow Unlimited. What are some of the other things, the North Stars, the projects that you are really wanting to elevate, move further into the universe?
Yes.
Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Glow Unlimited is my nonprofit that was established in 2018. Glow stands for growth, learning, opportunity, and wellness. I'm building out the platform where what we really just spoke about, I can give that information to up and coming content creators that are in music, because I have a lot of firsthand experience and a lot of resources that I think I can send. There's so many great people. Like, if I tell people all the time, I'm so glad I showed up in rooms and met people that were just wells of knowledge and information. It's a free platform where we can provide resources for creatives, especially disabled creatives, because the beauty of it is remote a lot of the times. A lot of the work that you can do is remote, which would make it easier for you to bring in an income. And so it's a lot of great things coming off of Glow. It's supposed to be a learning platform, and I want it to be perfect. So that is my baby. That is one of my North Stars. I'm also the vice president of RAMPed, which stands for Reporting Artists and Music Professionals with Disabilities. We are responsible for having the first Ramped on the Grammys, which made the Grammys accessible for the first time. It was 3 years ago. Amazing community, Alycia, everyone over there. Honored to be the vice president. And as of yesterday, I announced that I was nominated and elected as governor of the Recording Academy in the Florida chapter. So a lot of great things. My goal, of course, is to highlight diversity and accessibility and inclusivity in the music space, because to this day, we're still fighting for accessible venues. ASL. I'm very glad that now a lot of festivals are more inclusive so that more communities can really indulge and enjoy musical experiences. But I'm humbled to be nominated, and I'm hopeful that I can push the needle forward to just make entertainment a place where we as disabled people can enjoy music and fashion entertainment, but also add value in our work, because a lot of us are creatives and want to be compensated and be a part of the legacy of entertainment. So a lot of good stuff going on. I'm excited.
Congratulations on your appointments, and thank you for doing that work. Just as a music goer to festivals and things like that, we need it so bad to just be a consumer and enjoy it in that type of way. So amazing. Thank you. Did we miss anything?
New music coming this year, so stay tuned. We're doing some good stuff. We're actually thinking of doing something different, and I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna record, but it's gonna be off a live stream, and we're gonna live stream the process. We want people to really see how crazy it gets in a good way, where we come in and guitar, and then it transposes into us being on the piano. We get it into the sound, and it just want to teach that process, and hopefully we can bring some good music out. So that's coming out soon. You have a live stream recording session.
That's incredible. We're going to leave all of the links and every way that everybody can get in touch with you, get involved with Glow Unlimited, follow you, support you, hire you, all of the things. Before we wrap up, I warned you this question was going to be coming.
Yes.
I like to leave our guests with a little bit of, I'm going to call it glow today. Do you have a little mantra, something, a pushing forward moment that you can gift away to our community to inspire them a little bit on their journeys?
Yes. Remember that no one else can be you, and that's your superpower. Every room, space, and every invitation, be as authentically you as possible, because no one can ever duplicate that formula, and that's what makes you special. So embrace that.
Oh, I love it. Marsha, thank you so much for coming on this show. It's been such an amazing conversation. I am leaving here fully inspired, ready to take on the world. Thank you.
I'm excited. I can't wait to meet you in person.
Oh, manifest. Let's manifest that. Me too. thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to meet you. And thank you to our community for showing up. If you love this episode, please share it out to your communities. This has been another beautiful, glowing episode of Pushing Forward with Alycia. And that is literally how Marsha and I roll. We will see you next time.